Hare Krishna, good evening. So we are about to begin our reading of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Vrindavan Das Thakur. So we are very excited to begin this narration that I think will inspire all of us in our devotional life, as it did Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prestaya Bhutale, Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine, Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudavani Prasharine, Nirvishesha Shunavari Pashata Deshatarine. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Panchakalpatarubhyacha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, Sri Caitanya-Bhāgavata by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, also renowned and recognized as the Vyasa avatar of Chaitanya Leela, means the avatar, literary avatar of Srila Vyasadeva. These are the words of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And Vrindavan Das Thakur, as we're going to read, is going to also consider Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami as the avatar of Vyasadeva. So we can only surmise that both are emanations or empowered incarnations of Srila Vyasadeva. So this we have an English translation of the Gaudiya Bhashya commentary and the chapter summaries of His Divine Grace, Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Pravijaka Acharya Shishimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj. As Srila Bhakti Siddhanta wrote the Anubhashya commentary on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he also wrote a commentary on Caitanya-Bhāgavata. Srila Prabhupada, for shortest of time, didn't translate and write the purports for Caitanya-Bhāgavata, but certainly he wanted his followers to do so. But he would be very happy, certainly very happy, is very happy with this presentation, with his Guru Maharaj's commentaries, as he was very pleased when the Brahma Sangita was published with the commentaries of this Guru Maharaj. So first section, Kanda means section, Adi it's the beginning section. We have a dedication. This English edition of Sri Caitanya-Bhāgavata is dedicated to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Evam janamni patitam prabhaya kupe kamadi kamam anuya prapatam prasangat. Kritvat masat surashina bhagavan grihita soham katam nu vishrije tava britya sevam. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 9, Text 28, Prahlad Maharaj's prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev. My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, because of my association with material desires, one after another, I was gradually falling into a blind well full of snakes, following the general populace. But your servant Narada Muni kindly accepted me as his disciple and instructed me how to achieve this transcendental position. Therefore, my first duty is to serve him. How could I leave his service? Chapter 1 is a summary of Lord Gaura's pastimes. The first 5 verses of this chapter are the Mangalacharana, or auspicious invocation verses. The first verse, the author offers his respects to both Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu. In the second verse, he offers obeisance to only Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the third verse, the author discloses the confidential knowledge that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none different from Sri Krishna, the son of Yashoda, and Nityananda Prabhu is none different from Sri Balaram, the son of Rohini. In the fourth verse, the author glorifies the form, qualities, and pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Chandra. In the fifth verse, the author glorifies the pastimes and characteristics of Sri Chaitanya's devotees. In the beginning of the book, prayers are offered to the devotees, and the worship of devotees is described as superior to the worship of the Supreme Lord. The author then offers obeisance to the original Sankarshan, Sri Nityananda Baladeva, who is not only his spiritual master, but who is in his incarnation as Sankarshan or Ananta serves Sri Krishna Chaitanya in 10 different forms, and who as Shesha constantly glorifies the qualities of Sri Krishna Chaitanya with the thousands of mouths as he holds the universes on his heads. Sri Nityananda Prabhu is worshipable by even Lord Mahadeva, the greatest of the demigods. Therefore is Jagat Guru, the spiritual master of the entire universe. And only by his mercy can one attain the eternal service of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. The author also established that Lord Balarama's Rasa Lila is eternal, like that of Lord Krishna, and he cites evidence from the Srimad Bhagavatam in order to refute opposing views which are contrary to the conclusions of the scriptures. While describing the glories of Lord Balaram, the author explains that although Balaram is no different from Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda, he nevertheless serves Krishna by accepting various forms such as his friend, brother, chamara, bed, house, umbrella, clothes, ornaments, and seat. The truths regarding Nityananda Baladev, like those of Gaura Krishna, are difficult for even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva to understand. In his form as Shesha, Lord Balarama supports the entire universe and constantly glorifies the characteristics of Lord Krishna with his 1,000 mouths. Sri Nityananda Prabhu is that same Lord Balaram. In other words, Sri Baladev, who is the original Sankarshan, is Lord Nityananda. Other than by taking shelter of his lotus feet, there is no means for a living entity to gain freedom from material existence and attain the service of Gaura Krishna. The author composed Sri Chaitanya Mangala, or Bhagavata, by the order and the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. He did not exhibit any pride by presenting this great work. Rather, he humbly states that living entities who are under the clutches of Maya cannot possibly describe by their own endeavor the topics of the Lord, who is the controller of Maya. Out of his causeless mercy, the Supreme Lord personally manifested in the heart of a living entity who has received the mercy of the spiritual master. In this book, the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have been described in three divisions. First, the Adhikanda, mainly comprising the Lord's scholastic pastimes. Second, the Madhyakanda, mainly comprising the inauguration of the Sankirtana movement. And third, the Antyakanda, mainly comprising the Lord's distribution of the holy names as a sannyasi in Nilachala. This chapter concludes with a summary of the contents of the entire book. Gaudiya Bhasha, this is a commentary of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Ashraya Vishayadvaya Anyonya Sambhogamaya Radha Krishna Madhurya Dekaya Vipralamba Bhavamaya Shri Chaitanya Dinashraya Duyemile Audarya Vilaya. The worshipable Lord and his devotee enjoy each other's association as Radha and Krishna reveal their sweet pastimes. The combined form of Radha and Krishna, Lord Shri Chaitanya, is the shelter of the fallen souls and the personification of Audarya, magnanimity, and Vipralamba Bhava, service in separation. Bhakta Raya Ramananda, Gaura Vrajya Yubad Bandva, Deke Nija Bhava Siddha Sakshe, Se Kale Raya Bhupa Krishnera Sannyasi Rupa, Naipaya Sadakera Lakshe. When the confidential devotee of Sri Gaura, Sri Ramananda Raya, saw with divine eyes that Gaura is the combined form of Radha and Krishna, he was not able to see the sannyasi form of Krishna. Radha Bhave Nija Bhranti Subalita Radha Kanti Audarya Madhurya Prakasha Audarya Madhurya Brahmana Karibeta He Shrama Bale Prabhu Vrindavana Dasa. Being absorbed in the mood of Radha, Krishna forgets himself and exhibits a dazzling complexion. The conjugal pastimes of the Lord are not manifest in his magnanimous pastimes. Vrindavan Das Thakur teaches us that one should not labor hard to find the conjugal pastimes of the Lord in his magnanimous pastimes. Gandharvika Chitahari Krishna Yoge Kripakari Radha Vinati No Karunaya Kangala Dinera Savashi Chaitanya Dayarnava Tare Sevitaha Siddhaya. Lord Krishna, who enchants the hearts of Gandharvika and who bestows mercy on the qualified devotees, does not belong to anyone other than Radharani. The perfection of attaining his lotus feet is achieved by serving Sri Chaitanya, who is the ocean of mercy and the friend of the poor. Chaitanya Nitai Katha Shunile Hridaya Vyata Chiratare Yaya Sunichita Krishna Anuraga Haya Vishaye Asaktikshaya Shrotala Venija Nitya Hita. If one hears the topics of Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda, the pangs of one's heart are certainly destroyed forever. By this process of hearing, one attains the eternal benefit of attachment to Krishna and detachment from material enjoyment. I read this one again. If one hears the topics of Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda, the pangs of one's heart are certainly destroyed forever. By this process of hearing, one attains the eternal benefit of attachment to Krishna and detachment from material enjoyment. Bhagavate Krishna Katha Vyasera Lekani Yatha Tara Marma Vrindavana Jani Shri Caitanya-Bhāgavate Varne Anurupa Mate Gora Krishna Hekakari Mani. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur understood the topics of Krishna described by Srila Vyasadeva in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And in the same way, he wrote Sri Caitanya-Bhāgavata, describing the pastimes of Gaura, we accepted as non-different from Krishna. Gorera Gorava Lila Shuddha Sat Tattva Prakashila Enitai Dasa Vrindavana Tanara Padabja Dhari Anukshana Shiropari Gaudya Vashkera Sankalana. The glorious pastimes of Gaura have been revealed by Sri Vrindavan Das, the servant of Lord Nityananda. Following his footsteps and always keeping his lotus feet on my head, I write the Gaudiya Bhashya commentary on Caitanya-Bhāgavata. Sri Caitanya-Bhāgavata Lila Mani Marakata Chaitanya Nitai Katha Sara Shune Sarve Kshana Karne Sahasra Mukete Varne Granta Raja Mahima Hapar. Sri Caitanya-Bhāgavata is a collection of the jewel-like pastimes of Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda. One should always hear and chant with thousands of mouths the unsurpassable glorification of the Lord contained in this great book. Shri Bhakti Vinoda Pada Yate Nashe Bhogi Gada Shuddha Bhakti Yanha Te Prachara Likite Gaudiya Bhashya Rahu Chite Tavadasya Yachi Prabhu Karuna Tumara. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur preached the process of pure devotional service, and his lotus feet destroyed the desire for material enjoyment. While writing this Gaudiya Bhashya commentary, I beg for his mercy. O Prabhu, let the desire for serving you always remain in my heart. Hari Vinodera Asha Bhagavat Vyakya Bhasha Kunja Seva Karibe Yatane Bhakata Karuna Hale Sarva Siddhita Bemile Nahi Rakhi Anya Asha Mane. By the desire of Lord Hari and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I am writing this commentary on Caitanya-Bhāgavata. I will attentively serve their lordships in the kunjas. By the mercy of the devotees, one can achieve all perfection. Therefore, I do not keep any other desire in my mind. Shuddha Bhakta Murtiman Shunaye Yanara Kana Sri Caitanya-Bhāgavata Gana Shri Gaura Kishora Vara Eda Sera Guru Vara Sada Kripa Kara Mora Dhana. The pure devotees of the Lord hear and chant this Sri Caitanya-Bhāgavata. Shri Gaura Kishore Das Babaji is the spiritual master of this servant, so I always beg for his mercy. Shri Vashabhanavi Devi Ashlishta Daite Sevi Yena Chadiya Parada Gora Shri Vrajapatane Vasi Gandharvike Divanishi Giridhara Seva Paitora. Shri Vashabhanavi Dayitaya Dasa desires to serve the beloved Lord of Shri Vashabhanava Devi by giving up all offenses. O Gandharvika Giridhare, I pray day and night for your service while sitting at Shri Prajapatana Mayapur. Opening words. The original name of Sri Caitanya-Bhāgavata was Sri Chaitanya Mangala. As Sri Lochana Das Thakura, the disciple of Narahari Sarakara Thakura, wrote another book named Sri Chaitanya Mangala, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakura later changed the name of his own book to Sri Caitanya-Bhāgavata in order to differentiate the two books. When Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami refers to Sri Chaitanya Mangala in his Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, is referring to this Sri Caitanya-Bhāgavata. It is said that Srila Vrindavan Das Thakura changed the name of his book to Sri Caitanya-Bhāgavata by the desire of Srimati Narayani Devi. Anyway, as in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the pastimes of Krishna are described. In this book, the pastimes, particularly the Navadvip pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Deva, who is none different from the son of Nanda, are described. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita deals more with Sri Chaitanya's pastimes as a sannyasi in Nilachala, and therefore may be accepted as a supplement to Srila Vrindavan Das Thakura's book. This great book is divided into 3 parts, Adi, Madhya, and Antya. Adi Kanda extends up to the Lord's acceptance of initiation. Madhyakanda extends up to the Lord's acceptance of sannyasa, and Antyakanda describes some of the Lord's pastimes over a period of a few years in Nilachala. The Lord's later pastimes in Nilachala are not described in this book. Such later pastimes were also not described by Sri Murari Gupta in his book Sri Chaitanya Charita. Text 1. Ajanu lambita bujo kanaka vadato sankirtaneka pitaro kamalaya taksho vishvambaro dvichavaro yuga dharma palo vande jagat priyakaro karunavataro. I offer my respectful obeisance unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu, whose arms extend down to their knees, who have golden yellow complexions and who inaugurated the congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Their eyes resemble the petals of a lotus flower. They are the maintainers of the living entities, the best of the Brahmanas, the protectors of religious principles for this age, the benefactors of the universe, and the most merciful of all incarnations. Commentary. In this first verse of the Mangala Charana, the forms of Shri Gaura and Shri Nityananda are described. They have long arms and that stretch to their knees. Their complexions are like gold and their eyes are like the petals of the lotus flower. These two brothers have been described and adored as the inaugurators of the Sankirtana movement, the protectors of religious principles for this age, the maintainers of the living entities and the benefactors of the universe, the best of the Brahmanas and the most merciful of all incarnations. Shri Gaura Hari and Shri Nityananda are the bestowers of the Maha Mantra, the spiritual masters of the universe, and the fathers of the pure chanting of the holy names. They are both benefactors of the universe because they preach the principles of Jivedaya, compassion for all living entities. They are addressed as Karuna and the Vishvambara, merciful and the maintainers of the universe, because they have preached the religious principles for the age of Kali in the form of serving Vishnu and the Vaishnavas through the process Sankirtan, which is the only means of deliverance for the people of this age. Everyone should follow the principles of such prayers by Name Ruchi, having a taste for chanting the holy name, Jive Daya, showing compassion for other living entities, and Vaishnava Seva, serving the Vaishnavas. So three things: Name Ruchi, having a taste for chanting the holy name, Jive Daya, showing compassion for other living entities, and Vaishnava Seva, serving the Vaishnavas. By using Dvivachana, the verb form for two, rather than Bahuvachana, plural verb form, it is established that their preaching, mercy, and protection of Yoga Dharma is different from that found in seminal succession. The arms of great personalities stretch to their knees, as indicated by the word Ajanu Lambita Bhujao, whereas ordinary people's arms are not like that. Shri Gaura and Shri Nityananda are both Vishnu Tattva, who have appeared in this world. All the symptoms of great personalities were found in their transcendental bodies. It is stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila 3, 42-44, one who measures 4 cubits in height and in breadth by his own hand is celebrated as a great personality. Such a person is called Nyagroda Parimandala. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who personifies all good qualities, has the body of a Nyagroda Parimandala. His arms are long enough to reach his knees. His eyes are just like lotus flowers. His nose is like a sesame flower, and his face is as beautiful as the moon. The phrase Kanaka-Vadato is explained as follows. Since they both perform pastimes in a mood of devotees, their complexions are golden. They are the Vishaya Vigraha, or shelter of all devotees. They are the source of all spiritual beauty, and they attract all living entities. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Lord Nityananda is his personal manifestation. As stated in the Mahabharata Dana Dharma Vishnu Sahasra Nama Stotra 149, 92, 75. Suvarna Varno Emangu Varanga Shandanang Gandhi. In his early pastimes, he appears as a householder with a golden complexion. His limbs are beautiful, and his body, smeared with the pulp of sandalwood, seems like molten gold. The words Sankirtaneka Pitaro indicate that Sri Gaura Nityananda are the inaugurators of Sri Krishna Sankirtana movement. Srila Kaviraj Goswami has written in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi-Lila 376 as follows. Sankirtana Pravartaka Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sankirtan Tyage Thare Bhaje Siddhanya. Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya is the initiator of the Sankirtana, congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. One who worships him through Sankirtan is fortunate indeed. By using the Dvivachana form of the word Vishvambara, both Vishvarupa and Vishvambara are indicated. Sri Gaura and Sri Nityananda are both Vishnu Tattva, and since they have distributed love of God to the world through the chanting of the holy names, they are known as Vishvambara. Sri Nityananda and Sri Vishvarupa are one. Please refer to Adikanda 4, 47, 49 of this book. Srila Kaviraj Goswami has written in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi-Lila 332, 33 as follows. In his early pastimes, he is known as Vishvambara because he floods the world with the nectar of devotion and thus saves the living beings. The verbal root to brin, which is the root of the word Vishvambara, indicates nourishing and maintaining. He, Lord Chaitanya, nourishes and maintains the three worlds by distributing the love of God. A reference to the word Vishvambara is given in the Vedas, Atharva Veda, 2nd Kanda, 3rd Prapataka, 4th Anuvak, 5th mantra as follows. Vishvambara Vishvena Ma Barasa Pahi Svaha. Please preserve me by sustaining the universe, O Vishvambara, upholder of the universe. The word Dvija generally refers to Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas who have undergone the purificatory process. But here the word Dvija Varo refers to Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are dressed as Brahmanas and who have taken the role of Acharyas. Only Brahmanas are meant to take sannyas because Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are not qualified. So according to ashrama consideration, only Brahmanas are addressed as Dvijavara. Both Sri Gaura and Sri Nityananda took the role of Jagat Guru Acharyas and taught devotional service of the Lord to the people of this world. Therefore, they are the crest jewels amongst the Brahmanas. In this incarnation, they did not consider themselves coward boys and performed pastimes like Rasa Lila with any coward dancers, either in Godadesha or in Orissa. If one wants to destroy the distinction between the Madhurya pastimes of Vrindavan and the Audarya pastimes of Navadvip, then he will commit Rasabhasa and fall into hell due to the offense of opposing the conclusions of the author, Vrindavan Das Thakur and Ramananda Roy. The word Vijavaro may alternatively refer to Dvija Rajo, or 2 full moons that have simultaneous reason. The word Yuga is explained as follows. A Mahayuga consists of 4,320,000 earthly years. A Kalpa, or day of Brahma, consists of 1,000 Mahayugas. In this day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus, each of whom rule for 71 such yugas. A 1/10 portion of a Mahayuga is the duration of Kali Yuga. A 2/10 portion of a Mahayuga is the duration of Dvapara Yuga. A 3/10 portion of a Mahayuga is the duration of Treta Yuga. And a 4/10 portion of the Mahayuga is the duration of Satya Yuga. Regarding Yuga Dharma, the process of self-realization for Satya Yuga is meditation. For Treta Yuga is sacrifice. For Dvapara Yuga is deity worship. And for Kali Yuga is congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord. As stated in Srimad-Bhāgavatam 12:3-52, Krite ya dhyayato Vishnum Tritayam yachato makai Dvapare pacharyayam kalo tadhari kirtanat. Whatever result was obtained in Satya Yuga by meditating on Vishnu, in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, and in Dvapara Yuga by serving the Lord's lotus feet, can be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Elsewhere in Srimad-Bhāgavatam 12:351, it is stated, Kaler dosha nide rajanashti eko maham guna kirtanad eva krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajet. My dear king, although Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. The Srimad-Bhāgavatam 11:536 further states, Kalim sambhajayanti arya guna gyar sara bhagina tat yatra sankirtaneva sarva svarto pilabhyate. Those who are actually advanced in knowledge are able to appreciate the essential value of this age of Kali. Such enlightened persons worship Kali Yuga because in this fallen age, all perfection of life can easily be achieved by the performance of Sankirtan. And in the Vishnu Purana 6-17, it is stated, Kyayam krite yajam yagye stritayam vaparer chayam yadapnoti tadapnoti kalau sankirtya keshavam. Whatever is achieved by meditation in Satya Yuga, by the performance of sacrifice in Treta Yuga, and by the worship of Lord Krishna's lotus feet in Dvapara Yuga, is obtained in the age of Kali simply by glorifying the name of Lord Keshava. The phrase Yuga Dharma Palo is described as follows. According to the scriptures dealing with karma kanda or fruitive activities, the religious principles for the age of Kali is charity. But as the maintainers of the Yuga Dharma, the two most magnanimous lords, Shri Gaura and Shri Nityananda, have inaugurated the congregational chanting of the holy names of Krishna. The Srimad-Bhāgavatam 11:532 and 10:8-9 says, Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yage Sankirtana Praye Yajanti Sumedasha. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Asam varnastrayo yasya krinato nuyugam tanuhu shuklo raktas tata pita idanim krishnatam gadaha. Your son Krishna appears as an incarnation in every millennium. In the past, he assumed 3 different colors, white, red, and yellow. And now he has appeared in a blackish color. In another Dvapara Yuga, he appeared as Lord Ramachandra in the color of Shuka, a parrot. All such incarnations have now assembled in Krishna. Srila Rupa Goswami has offered his obeisance unto Shri Krishna Chaitanya Deva as follows. Namo Mahāvadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Name Gauratvise Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, who is more magnanimous than any other avatar, even Krishna himself, because he is bestowing freely what no one else has ever given, pure love of Krishna. In other words, magnanimity is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's characteristic, and distributing love of Krishna is his pastime. Srila Kaviraj Goswami has stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila 8:15, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Daya Karaha Vichara, Vichara Karite Chite Pabe Chamatkara. If you are indeed interested in logic and argument, kindly apply it to the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you do so, you will find it to be strikingly wonderful. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written about this mercy as follows: Dayala. Dayala Nitai Chaitanya Bale Dakri Amaramana. My dear mind, please chant the name of the most merciful Nitai Chaitanya. Actually, the charity given by Sri Gaura Nityananda is matchless, supreme, and unique. They are both maintainers of Yuga Dharma, performers of Sri Krishna Sankirtan, and bestowers of unalloyed mercy. The word Jagat Priya Karo indicate that Sri Gaura Nityananda are the benefactors of the universe. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami has written in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi 186 and 102, as follows: Say Dui Jagatere Haya Sadaya, Gauda Deshe Purva Shaile Karila Udaya, E Chandra Surya Dui Parama Sadaya, Jagatera Bhagye Gaude Karila Udaya. These two have arisen over the eastern horizon of Gaudadesh, West Bengal, being compassionate for the fallen state of the world. These two, the sun and moon, are very kind to the people of the world. Thus, for the good fortune of all, they have appeared on the horizon of Bengal. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 1:2 further states, Bande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Sahudito Godadaye Pushpavanto Shitro Shando Tamonudo. I offer my respectful obeisance unto Shri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. Regarding Karuna Avataro, the two merciful incarnations, Srila Rupa Goswami has written about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the introduction to his Vidakta Madhava as follows: Anarpita Charim Chirat Karunaya Vartina Kalo. He has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation ever offered before. Srila Kaviraj Goswami has written in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 5, 207 to 208 and 216, one who in this world but Nityananda could show his mercy to such an abominable person as me, because he's intoxicated by ecstatic love and is an incarnation of mercy. He does not distinguish between the good and the bad. The mercy of Lord Nityananda showed me Srimadhan Mohan and gave me Srimadhan Mohan as my Lord and Master. Text 2. Namastri Kala Satyaya Jagannatha Sutaya Cha Sabrityaya Saputraya Sakalatraya Te Namaha. O my Lord, you are eternally existing in the past, present, and future. Yet you are the son of Sri Jagannath Mishra. I offer my repeated obeisance unto you, along with your associates, your devotee servants, your sons, your Goswami disciples, or the process of devotional service, such as the congregational chanting of the holy name, and your consorts, who, according to regulative principles, refer to Vishnu Priya with Bhushakti, Lakshmi Priya with Sri Shakti, and Navadvipa with Sri Nila, Lila, and Durga or Durga, and according to devotional principles, refers to the two Gadadharas, Narahari, Ramananda, Jagadananda, and others. Commentary. In the second verse of the auspicious invocation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is addressed as follows: is the absolute truth, existing in the past, present, and future, and therefore is eternal. How from our basis to Sri Gaura Sundara, the son of Jagannath, along with his servants, sons, consorts, and associates. The word Jagannath Sutra is singular, and so refers only to Sri Gaura Sundara. Jagannath Mishra's other son, Sri Vishwarupa or Shankararanya Swami, is not referred to herein, as Sri Vishwarupa took sannyas in his childhood and had no disciples in the renounced order. Therefore, the later two adjectives of this verse, Sa Kalatraya and Sa Putraya, are not applicable to him. One may question how the word Sa Putraya can be applied to Sri Gaura Sundara. In answer to this, it is to be understood that the Lord's renunciate Goswami disciples are accepted as his sons, and his householder disciples are accepted as his servants. The renunciate sannyasis who belong to the Achyuta Gotra are considered the Lord's sons. In the beginning of his Upadeshamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami has established his followers as Tridandi sannyasis. They are actually the Lord's own family members. Sri Achyuta Prabhu, the son of Advaitacharya, is the founding forefather of the Achyuta Gotra and is therefore addressed as Achyuta Ananda. The followers of the two Prabhus, Nityananda, Sri Nityananda and Sri Advaita, are the servants of their Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. According to regulative principles, the consorts of Sri Gaura Narayana are Vishnu Priya, who is Bhu Shakti, Lakshmi Priya, who is Sri Shakti, and Sri Navadvipadam, which is Nila, Lila, or Durga. According to devotional principles, the consorts of Sri Gaura Govinda are Sri Gadadhara Pandit, Sri Gadadhara Das, Sri Narahari, Sri Jagadananda, Sri Vrakeshwara, Sri Ramananda, Sri Rupa Sanatan, and the other Goswamis. Srila Kaviraj Goswami has written in his Chaitanya Charitamrita, D714, one of them is Mahaprabhu, and the other two are Prabhus. These two Prabhus serve the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. Text 3, Avartino Sakarunayo Parichino Sadishvaro Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Dvau Bharataro Bhaje. I worship the two brothers, Shri Krishna Chaitanya and Shri Nityananda, who have descended in this world as the supreme controllers. They have appeared in covert forms as the embodiments of mercy. Commentary. The word Parichino indicates that the spiritual pastimes of the Svayam Rupa, original form of the Supreme Lord, and this Svayam Prakasha, first expansion, are full of spiritual variegatedness. Sri Gaura Nityananda or Sri Krishna Balaram are non-different, yet they have accepted two forms as Svayam Rupa and Svayam Prakasha. Bharataro means the two brothers. Sriman Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu did not play the role of seminal brothers in order to establish that there is no difference between the pastimes of the Svayam Rupa and Svayam Prakash. The Transcendentalists address them as brothers out of spiritual consideration. Text 4, Sajayanti Vishuddha Vikrama Kanakadba Kamalaya Tekshana Varajanu Vilambi Sadbhujo Bauda Bhakti Rasa Vinartakaha. All glories to Sri Gaura Sundara, whose powerful activities are supremely pure, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold, whose eyes are like lotus petals, whose 6 beautiful arms extend to his knees, and whose heart is inundated by loving devotion sentiments as he enjoys dancing in various ways during kirtan. Commentary. The phrase Bauda Bhakti Rasa Vinartakaha is explained as follows. When the 5 direct rasas and 7 indirect rasas interact with one another, it is called Bhakti Rasa. The object of attachment for the devotees situated in the 5 direct rasas, Sri Gaura Sundara Sundara danced along with those who had taken shelter of him. Text 5. Jayati Jayati Deva Krishna Chaitanya Chandro Jayati Jayati Kirtistasya Nitya Pavitra Jayati Jayati Brityastasya Vishvesha Murte Jayati Jayati Nrityam Tasya Sarva Priyanam. All glories to Krishna Chaitanya Chandra, who is the fully independent Supreme Personality of Godhead and the abode of transcendental pastimes. All glories to his eternally pure activities. Sri Gaura Sundar is the controller of all other controllers, the Lord of the universe and the embodiment of transcendental knowledge. All glories to his devotees and all glories to the dancing of his beloved associates. Commentary. After Sri Gaura Sundari left Navadvip, his followers addressed him as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Chandra, the predominating deity of Sambandha. Sri Rupa Goswami has stated in his prayer, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurat Vishe Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who has assumed the golden collar of Srimati Radharani. It is stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 3:34. In his later pastimes, he is known as Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya. He blesses the whole world by teaching everyone the glories of Lord Sri Krishna. Those who are achetanashraya or devoid of spiritual consciousness should not think that they can contaminate the teachings of Lord Gauranga simply by replacing Chaitanya Mangala with Gaura Mangala, Caitanya-Bhāgavata with Gaura Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita with Gauranga Charitamrita, or Chaitanya Chandrodaya with Gaura Chandrodaya. In Gaura Lila, the Lord has accepted the name of Sri Krishna Chaitanya in order to awaken the propensity of materialistic people who are achaitanya, devoid of spiritual consciousness, to develop their Chaitanya Dharma in the spiritual in the form of cultivating Krishna consciousness. He also induced people who aspire for liberation to engage in the worship of Lord Krishna. Sri Gaura Sundara is Mahavadanya, most magnanimous, and Krishna Prema Pradata, the bestower of love for Krishna. These are his supremely pure eternal glories. All the devotees who are direct servants of Sri Vishvambhara, the control of the universe and Lord of Goloka, are personally maintained by him and are therefore the owners of his entire wealth and opulence. All glories to the servitorship of Sri Swarupa Damodar, Sri Ramananda, Sri Vakeshwara, and other beloved devotees who in the mood of gopis always glorify the Lord. Text 6. Ade Sri Chaitanya Priya Goshtira Charane Ashesha Prakare Mora Danda Paraname. In the beginning, I offer unlimited obeisance to the feet of the loving, confidential devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya. Commentary. Before offering praise to Sri Chaitanya, the author offers his obeisance at the feet of the Lord's confidential devotees. Among the confidential devotees of the Lord, the spiritual master is the prime celebrity. Lord Nityananda Prabhu himself is the author's spiritual master. Goshti refers to a group of persons who have great relish for a wide variety of scriptures, who are endowed with truthful words, who are embellished with faultless ornaments, and who are full of perfect knowledge. Hearing topics related to the Lord from the Bhagavat and other scriptures, they realize the Lord. The word danda means falling to the ground straight like a stick, and the word paranama means obeisances. Such obeisances are of four varieties. 1, offering greetings. 2, offering obeisance with 8 parts of the body touching the ground. 3, offering obeisance with 5 parts of the body touching the ground. And 4, bowing the head with folded hands. Text 7. Tabe bandom Shri Krishna Chaitanya Maheshwara Navadvipe Avatara Nama Vishvambhara. I then offer my obeisance to the Supreme Personality of God, that Sri Krishna Chaitanya, incarnated in Navadvip and is known as Vishwambhar. Commentary. After first offering obeisance unto his spiritual master, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, the author then offers obeisance unto Sri Chaitanya Dev. This is the proper etiquette. That is why the word tabe or then is used in this verse. Long before the advent of Sripad Shankaracharya, the Tridandi Sannyasa order existed in a Vaishnava line of Sri Vishnu Swami. In the Vishnu Swami Vaishnava Sampradaya, there are 10 different kinds of sannyasa names and 100 different names for sannyasis who accept the Tridanda, the triple staff of sannyas. But at the time of Shankaracharya, who was a Vedantist inclined to impersonalism and who preached the philosophy of monism, the sect of Panchopasakas, those who worshipped 5 gods, had again become prominent in India. That is why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Vedic sannyas from the Shankara Sampradaya, which uses 10 names for their sannyasis. In Aryavarta, many Aryan pseudo followers of the Vedas became followers of Shankaracharya, known as Panchopasakas, under the guidance of that Sampradaya. The 10 names of Shankara sannyasis are Tirtha, Ashrama, Vana, Aranya, Giri, Parvata, Sagara, Saraswati, Bharati, and Puri. The title and abode of each sannyasi and brahmachari is as follows. Sannyasis with the titles Tirtha and Ashram generally stay at Dwarka, and their brahmachari name is Sarupa. Those known as by the names of Vana and Aranya stay at Purushottam or Jagannath Puri, and their brahmachari name is Prakasha. Those with the names of Giri, Parvata, and Sagara generally stay at Badarikashram, and their brahmachari name is Ananda. Those with the titles Saraswati, Bharati, and Puri usually live at Sringeri in South India, and their brahmachari name is Chaitanya. Sripad Shankaracharya established 4 monasteries in India in the 4 directions, north, south, east, and west, and entrusted them to 4 sannyasi disciples. Now there are hundreds of branch monasteries under these 4 principal monasteries, and although there is an official symmetry among them, there are many differences in their dealings. The 4 different sects of these monasteries are known as Anandavara, Bhogavara, Kitavara, and Bhumivara, and in course of time they have developed different ideas and different slogans. According to the regulation of the Shankara sect, one who wishes to enter the renounced order in a disciple succession must first be trained as a brahmachari under a bona fide sannyasi. The brahmachari's name is ascertained according to the group to which the sannyasi belongs. This custom is current in this sampradaya up to the present day. Lord Chaitanya superficially accepts sannyas from Keshava Bharati and became known as Sri Krishna Chaitanya. The Lord kept his brahmachari name even after accepting sannyas. Those who recorded the Lord's pastimes did not mention that the Lord ever identified himself as Bharati. Although a sannyasi in the Shankara Sampradaya thinks that he has become the supreme, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considered himself the eternal servant of Lord Krishna, even after he took Ekadanda sannyas. As the friend of the living entities and spiritual master of the universe, he benefited the conditioned souls by preaching pure devotional service of Lord Krishna among them, and never exhibited the pride of the Ekadandi sannyasi. The brahmachari's only pride is their service to their spiritual master, which is not unfavorable to devotional service. The authentic biographies also mention that when Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, he accepted the danda, rod, and begging pot, which are symbolic of the sannyasa order. The word Maheshvara is found in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad 4:10. and 6-7 as follows. Mayam tu prakritim vidyam mayinam tu maheshwaram. Although Maya, illusion, is false or temporary, the background of Maya is the supreme magician, the personality of Godhead, who is Maheshwara, the supreme controller. Antam Ishwaranam Paramam Maheshwaram. You are the supreme controller of all controllers. In his commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam 11:27-23, Srila Sridhar Swami has quoted the following verses from the Padma Purana. Yo vedado svara prokto vedante sa pratishtita tasya prakriti linasya ya parasa maheshwara. He who is describing the Vedas establishing the Vedanta, who exists after the merging of Prakriti, is called Maheshwara. Yosa akaro vai Vishnu Narayano Hari Saeva Purusho Nitya Paramatma Maheshwara. The original person who remains after annihilation is none other than Lord Vishnu, who is certainly none different from Narayana or Hari. He is the eternal super soul known as Maheshwara. Also in the Brahma Vaivarta Purana, Prakriti Kanda chapter 53, it is said, Vishwastanam Sasarvasham Mahatma Mishvara Swayam Maheshwaram Satene Mam Prabhadanti Manishina. The wise say that Maheshwara refers to the Lord of all places in the universe, which is called Mahat. The city of Navadvip is situated on the eastern bank of the Ganges. For a long time, it was the capital of the Sena kings. At present, the place formerly known as Navadvip consists of a number of villages with various names. The place now known as Sri Mayapur is the site wherein the residence of Jagannath Mishra, Srivas, Thakur, Sri Advaitacharya, and Murari Gupta were formerly situated. Due to the change in the course of the Ganges, most of Navadvip area of Lord Chaitanya's time has been submerged. Therefore, most of the inhabitants were forced to shift to nearby places. The modern seat of Navadvip is situated on a place known during the time of Lord Chaitanya's Kulya or Pahadapura. But in the 18th century, Navadvipa was situated on the island of Kulyadaha or Kalyadaha. In the 17th century, however, Navadvip was situated at the places now known as Nidaya, Sankarapura, Rudrapada. Previous to that and up to the 16th century, the Navadvip of Lord Chaitanya's time extended throughout the places now known as Sri Mayapur, Baladigi, Vamanapukura, Shinatapura, Baruidanga, Samuliya, Rudrapada, Karanavasa, Kariyati, and Ramajivarnapura. The present-day village of Vamanapukura is then known as Belpukura, but when this ancient village of Belpukura was shifted to Megharachada at the end of the 17th century, it became known as Vamanapukura. Ramachandra, Pura, Kakadera Mata, Sri Ramapura, Babladi, and other places were on the western side of the Ganges. Some of these places were part of Koladvip and some were part of Modadrumadvip. Although some places like Shinadanga and Padapura are now lost, places like Tegarita, Kola Amada, and Kuliaganja of present-day Navadvipa still display evidence of the ancient Koladvip. Vidyanagara, Janagara, Mangachi, Gobla, etc. on the western side of the Ganges are supposed to be suburbs of the ancient Navadvip. Various unreasonable arguments regarding the location of ancient Navadvip began even before the time of Lord Chaitanya, and they have presently taken a terrible shape due to various reasons. These baseless arguments have not and will not ever be successful. Under the order of perfect devotees like Srila Jagannath Das Babaji, it has again been indisputably established that a short distance from the Samadhi of Chandgazi is the site of Jagannath Mishra and Sachidevi's house, the Lord's birthplace at Sri Mayapur, Yogapita. All impartial historical and spiritual evidence, enriched with reason and argument, indisputably conclude that the area surrounding present-day Mayapur is the site of the ancient Navadvip. In the 12th wave of Bhakti Ratnakara it is written, it is specifically stated in the Vishnu Purana that all of the Lord's abodes are situated within Nadia. The Vishnu Purana 2, 3, 6, and 7 states, please hear about the 9 islands of Bharatavarsha, known as Indradvipa, Kasheru, Tamraparnagar, Gabashtiman, Nagadvipa, Saumya, Gandharva, Varuna, and the 9th Navadvip, which is situated near the ocean in the midst of the other 8 islands. Navadvipa extends 1,000 yojanas from north to south. In his commentary on these 2 verses, Srila Sridhara Swami writes, in these verses, the word Sagara Sambrita means near the ocean. Since the name of the 9th island is not separately mentioned, it is obvious that the 9th island is Navadvip. In the Gaura Ganodesha Dipika 18, it is said, all glories to the most wonderful abode of Navadvip, which those in full knowledge of rasa call Vrindavan, which people of knowledge call Goloka, which others call Shvetadvipa, and still others call Paravyoma, the spiritual sky. Navadvipa is famous throughout the universe as the place where the 9 types of devotional service, beginning with hearing, shine brilliantly. The 9 varieties of devotional service are enumerated by Prahlad Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam 7, 5, 23, 24 as follows. Hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering praise to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering the Lord one's best friend and surrendering everything unto him, or in other words, serving him with body, mind, and words. These 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. Although Srinavadvipa consists of 9 separate islands, they remain one. Throughout Satya, Treta, and Dwapar Yugas, up through the beginning of Kali Yuga, the name of Navadvipa was never lost. But as Kali Yuga progresses, the name of Navadvipa will be nearly forgotten. Some persons, however, will realize the abode of Navadvipa. By Krishna's will, Prajanabha established many villages in Braja and named them according to the pastimes that were performed there. Yet as time passed, many of those places were forgotten or renamed. In the same way, the village of Navadvipa were manifested and named according to the pastimes performed there by the Lord and his devotees. Yet some of them were forgotten and some were renamed. The name of Navadvipa, however, remained. Simply by hearing the word Dvipa, one's miseries are diminished. There are 9 Dvipas on the eastern side and western sides of the Ganges. Antardvipa, Simantadvipa, Gautumadvipa, and Shimadadvipa are situated east of the Ganges, while Koladvipa, Ritudvipa, Janudvipa, Modratumadvipa, Trudadvipa are situated west of the Ganges. Beloved devotees of the Lord, headed by Shiva and Parvati, eternally reside in the abode of Navadvipa. Tridani Goswami Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati has written in his Navadvipa Shataka 1-2, through the 9 process of devotional service, beginning with hearing, remembering, and worshipping, we adore the Supreme Personality of God as Sri Krishna, who is absorbed in the mood of Radharani, who is resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, who in Navadvipa is always engaged in kirtana, with associates playing mrindangas and karatals, who is eternally worshipped by all living entities, who is the destroyer of the contamination of the age of Kali, and who is the bestower of happiness to his devotees. We adore Srinavadvipa Dham, which is manifested by the Lord's internal potency, which bestows supreme happiness, which the Chandogya Upanishad glorifies as Para Brahmapura, which is glorified by Smritis as Vaikuntha, the abode of Vishnu, which is called Shvetadvipa by some great souls, and which is known as Vrindavan by the rare devotees conversant with transcendental knowledge. The word avatar is explained by Srila Jiva Goswami in his Krishna Sandarbha as follows. An avatar is he who descends into the material realm. Shri Baladeva Vidyabhusan has commented on the description of the Lord's incarnations in Srila Rupa Goswami's Laghu Bhagavatamrita as follows. When the Absolute Truth incarnates from the spiritual world, Vaikuntha, into this material creation is called an avatar. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 288-90 stated, only the personality of Godhead, the source of all other divinities, is eligible to be designated as Swayam Bhagavan, or the primeval Lord. When from one candle many others are lit, I consider that one the original. Krishna is, in the same way, is the cause of all causes of all incarnations. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 3:28-30 says, therefore, in the company of my devotees, I shall appear on earth and perform various colorful pastimes. Thinking thus, the personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna himself, descended at Nadia early in the age of Kali. Thus the lion-like Lord Chaitanya has appeared in Navadvip. He has the shoulders of a lion, the powers of a lion, and the loud voice of a lion. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 3:110 says, therefore, the principal reason for Sri Chaitanya's descent is this appeal by Advaitacharya. The Lord, the protector of religion, appears by the desire of his devotee. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 5:14, 15, and 19 says, beyond the material nature lies the realm known as Paravyoma, the spiritual sky. Like Lord Krishna himself, it possesses all transcendental attributes, such as the six opulences. That Vaikuntha region is all-pervading, infinite, and supreme. It is the residence of Lord Krishna in his incarnations. That abode is manifested within the material world by the will of Lord Krishna. It is identical to that original Gokula. They are not two different bodies. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 5:78, 80, and 82 says, although Kshirodakashayi Vishnu is called the Kala of Lord Krishna, he is the source of Matsya, Kurma, and the other incarnations. That Purusha, Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, is the performer of creation, maintenance, and destruction. He manifests himself in many incarnations, for he is the maintainer of the world. That fragment of the Mahapurusha who appears for the purpose of creation, maintenance, and annihilation is called an incarnation. That Mahapurusha is identical with the personality of Godhead. He is the original incarnation, the seed of all others, and the shelter of everything. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 5, 131, 32, 177, 27, 28, 33 says, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna appears, he is the shelter of all plenary parts. Thus, at that time, all his plenary portion join in him. In whatever form one knows the Lord, one speaks of him in that way. In this, there is no falsity, since everything is possible in Krishna. But I accept it as the truth because it has been said by devotees. Since he is the source of all incarnations, everything is possible in him. They know that there is no difference between the incarnation and the source of all incarnations. Previously, different people regarded Lord Krishna in the light of different principles. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has exhibited to everyone all the pastimes of all the various incarnations. It is also stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 20, 263, 264. The form of the Lord that descends into the material world to create is called an avatar or incarnation. All the expansions of Lord Krishna are actually residents of the spiritual world. However, when they descend into the material world, they are called incarnation, avatars. For the meaning of the word Vishvambara, please see the purport of the first verse. And we end here. We went over our time, so we are not going to have any comment or reflection or question today. If you have, please note down and we can we can do on a next session next week. It's very informative. This is the way Srila Bhaktisiddhanta writes. He gives many detailed information. Some we may think are fastidious in the sense that too much description is too much for our little brains. But there are many things that we pick up here and there. At least I did pick up something that are really very relevant, very important for what is going to unfold in this Caitanya-Bhāgavata. It's no use to start video. So we stop here for today, for tonight, and we continue on the next Thursday, Krishna's willing, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's willing. Jai Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hari Hari Bol.